are you?
Hello, good evening. How are you? I'm great.
I'm doing awesome. Very excited to be talking to our next pair of awesome spirits that are willing to sit here and talk to us. And I'm hoping that they're there with you, Bonnie and Clyde. And for those of you that don't know who they are, maybe you live in a different country, I just want to make sure that, real quickly, to tell you that they're just a very famous couple that were known to be robbers and also killers. And we're going to ask them about that too. They were from the state of Texas, and they had the crime spree in the 1930s. And it's just a story of love, uh, um, and just of need, and just a really interesting story. So, Marie, what do you see? Tell us.
I see two very loud energies, one loud, one subtle. They kind of balance each other out right now, but even the subtle ones are kind of loud, and that would be Bonnie.
Oh,
And
okay, that's what I was going to ask you.
and Clyde, he's just big. He's just a big energy, a big ball of energy. And he tips his hat and he says how he tips his hat and he says hello, good evening, how are you? And he's very happy to be here. Bonnie as well, and she has on. So let me tell you what they're wearing tonight. She's got on this. It looks like a knit skull cap with a little flower on the side, and her hair is. It looks to be short, and she has on this beautiful wool coat that goes with it. Um, Clyde has on a suit. I almost want to say it looks like a zoot suit, but he's telling me it's not. He's saying it looks good, but it's not a zoot suit. But and a
Suit
hat
suited.
and a fedora hat, and they're presenting themselves to be in their I want to say middle to late 20s, early 30s. Um, and they're just shaking their head. They're waiting for me to be done describing them because he's like, get on with the questions. What the hell do you care what we're wearing? I'm like, okay, your guns are away, right? And they just laughed. They're like, you're funny. There's no guns over here.
All right, well, awesome. You know what? We will get started because we have some questions from two of our, actually three different people
Awesome.
that had questions. So, one of the questions was, where did the intense attraction between them come from?
They're talking one at a time, please. She likes to talk about this because this is the ushy gushy kind of stuff. But he's a little on the mushy side too. And she just says, we've shared many lifetimes together. If you want to call us twin flames, soul mates, whatever the hell you want to call it, we have spent all these lifetimes together. We've always been connected. Not only has it been romantic, she says, but some lifetimes it's been where he's a total asshole and I'm really sweet. And then there's other lifetimes where I've been a total bitch and he's been a real asshole, where he's been sweet. So the connection's been long and but always together. And she says, I refer to the asshole and sweet and stuff like that, but what it is just lessons that we've taught each other. The dark side and the light side. We're just the yin and the yang for each other.
Wow. Okay, so then in that case, I mean, are you considered twin flames on just that lifetime, or are you considered twin flames on all of the lifetimes together?
Every single one.
Okay, so then it sounds like you are twin flames forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, twin flames is a human concept. Uh, what we more like to call the concept on from our perspective is the yin and the yang, the two energies that teach the light and the dark. And that goes for each incarnation. And yes, we have incarnated together for each incarnation. Twin flames, yin and yang, we prefer. Because we always haven't been nice to each other.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Makes sense. Let's see. The next question, which you've already answered, was if you had incarnated as a couple since this lifetime. Well, no, since this lifetime happened, how about in between then and now?
No, no, we're currently not in this incarnation. Um, we decided to take some time off. Funny. We will go back again, um, but we're going to be brother and sister.
Ah, okay.
And 2025 and 2027, I just heard those 2 years, so I imagine that's the years they're planning on coming back.
Wow. Amazing. Excellent. Thanks for the info. All right. Another awesome question was that Bonnie explains in her writings about a lot of injustices that happened. And there was a lot of, they killed people here, or they did this and there. So there's a lot of legend, a lot of misinformation out there. Um, can you elaborate more on the facts of what really is true and what isn't?
If you're asking if we killed people, yes, we absolutely did. Did we kill everybody that we were accused of killing? No, we became the scapegoats for a lot of things that they just couldn't figure out. It put people's minds at rest, thinking that they had captured or killed the robbers or whomever, they were being or killers. I'm sorry, what they were being blamed for is what he said. So some of them, yeah, they did. They killed to get the hell out of town. She was like, "You didn't think we were going to risk getting caught? We had all this money. We're getting the hell out of town with all that money, and nobody was going to stop us." Uh, she's talking more now than he is. And she's talking about living a childhood of extreme poverty. And he as well. That they
Yes,
both came up from dirt poor, nothing to eat. Um, Many kids in the family not being clean, not being cared for, loved, nor wanted. It wasn't just neglect on a food level.
yeah, and absolutely. And they also went through the depression also while this was going on. So imagine, I mean, adding that to everything else.
Well,
Uh,
you know what he just said? He said, for us, the depression wasn't
was
any
normal.
huge, big mindset or any big change for us. We're used to not having anything. We didn't lose anything in the stock market. Hell, life didn't change.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It was a super sad childhood. And I wasn't planning on bringing it up, but since you guys did, yeah, it's good to know. Good information. Um, So, what did Bonnie do while Clyde was in jail? You know that Clyde was caught stealing some cars, and so anyway, he ended up in jail for a while. What did Bonnie do? There wasn't any information as to what. I know Bonnie was sending him letters, love letters, backwards and forwards between the two of them. But I was just thinking, well, heck, what did she do with her time while she was, waiting for him to get out?
I missed the hell out of them. Well, she says I took that time off as an opportunity to improve myself. So I wasn't well educated, and she's showing me teaching herself how to read and write, or maybe she says, no, I didn't teach myself, I had the basics, but I taught myself further how to really understand and read and write and add. She says, I took the time to improve myself while he was in there. And of course, there were those letters. That's all I had. That was my connection to my beloved. We we were just each other's everything, other half. It hurt very much to be away from him for that long. And he interrupted and he says, and I feel the same. It hurt for me to be away that long. He says, we all know what the hell I was doing in prison.
Right.
You're right.
Exactly. Yep.
And she says, I was just missing the hell out of him. I was waiting for him to come home, improving myself, reading. She says that one of the things that she liked to do then is, and this is okay, thank you, Bonnie. This is why she's got the coat and the hat on for me. Was
Uh-huh.
to put this coat on, put the hat down, and go out in public where nobody would recognize her, you know, because the hat and the coat, and just watch and walk around people. She says, I couldn't do that for a long time.
Oh, wow.
We were wanted, we were on the run. I couldn't do that for a long time.
Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you both learn in this lifetime?
They're chatting. Hold on. Because they're apparently not agreeing.
Oh, wow. Well, it's each is gonna have their own. It doesn't
Experience.
have to match, right?
He just pointed at you and went. Like you hit it on the nose, right? So he said, while they're parallel and very much the same, we all come here to learn our own lessons. For me, I came to learn about lack. And I came to learn about how to fix that lack, whether it was acceptable in the terms of the law. I fixed what I felt I needed to fix. I came here to experience consequences and the law of cause and effect. I stole the cars, I got put in jail. Ding, check that off my list. I came here to experience touch and love, and I had plenty of that. And she's smiling pretty big. And he just hugged her, he gave her a little squeeze, right?
Aww.
And he says, I accomplished everything. There's lots of other little lessons, but those were the biggies. And
What about Bonnie?
says,
Okay, yeah.
she says, well, I also came here to experience lack, neglect, and finding my power. Women back then did not have power. I was pissed. I was pissed. I wanted more. I didn't want to be neglected and hungry and dirty. I found power. A woman back then never had anything. I found love, my true love. And I found out how to be a partner. That was a big lesson for me. That's what I needed to come here for. More so than finding love or anything else, was how to be a partner. And I've accomplished all that. They don't have any regrets because I just mentally asked them, do you have regrets for like what you stole, who you killed,
Right.
yada yada, yada yada, killing somebody. Um,
Well,
they're laughing at me too. Oh gosh.
I think those
He
are all
goes, he goes,
contracts.
he goes, if you can yada yada sex, you can yada yada killing somebody. Well, he goes like this. He says, regret? Absolutely not. Of course it was contract. We
Right.
came here to do each and every one. I made those contracts. I completed them, and so did the people we entered them into.
Right.
Nope,
Exactly.
no regrets. Learned everything I needed to. And
Yep.
Bonnie says, no, me either. And I just asked them if you had it to do all over again, would you do the same thing? And they said, why, of course they would. Um, they would have been smarter about the cars and him going to jail.
And cutting his toes off while he was in jail? Yeah,
Yep,
he
they
could
would
have
have
been
been
smarter
they
about
would have
that.
been smarter about that. But they don't regret it. So funny. So Eric's like, got a question.
Yes, that's funny. My alarm went off, which was the alarm was for Eric to ask his
Well,
question.
he
So
stands
Eric,
up. You know Eric. He stands up and he's like, ooh, 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 don't forget.
and
Oh.
this is of course Eric Meadows from Channeling Eric blog. So Eric, what is your question?
First, he wants to say, you forgot to introduce me as the one and only Eric Medhus from the Eric Medhus Channeling Eric blog. Okay? Just saying, Elisa. Get it right. He's looking at them directly and he says, what I'm asking them is that, he says, first of all, I told them how badass they are. Because they just kicked ass. They took what they came, they took what they wanted, and went on. You got to ask a little louder, pal. It's not fair if you're chatting amongst yourselves. Hello?
Oh, that's too funny.
Okay. Finally. He says he wants to know what was their favorite thing to do. Was it to steal cars? Was it to steal money? Was it to kill people? You know, he's being honest. It's good. It's all
Yeah,
honest
yeah,
question.
yeah. I'm good with that.
Right? And they said their favorite thing to do was whatever gave them that adrenaline rush. He says we lived in the moment. If we're going to rob a bank, we robbed that bank and it was the best freaking thing on earth and your blood just rushed right through you. But if we were going to steal a car, steal it and drive it as fast as you can and you get that adrenaline rush. That's really what it was about. So favorite, you know, the money's always the favorite. I gotta say the money, Eric. Yep. He says the Bonnie says the money because you didn't get caught, Clyde. Come on. So there you have it. Their
Oh,
favorite was the
wow.
money. Was robbing banks and robbing people to get money. They liked the money. But
Right.
and Eric just looked at me and he says that was to fill the sense of lack. So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. Absolutely. Well, this has been so interesting. I
It
am
really
bummed we
has.
are out of time. This has been just a lot of fun.
It sure
Uh,
has.
Thank you. If you can thank them for us, Celestine, it would be wonderful. And do they have any parting words?
They said thank you for the invitation. They appreciate the interview because not many people think about interviewing the outlaws, and and they're sending love and saying goodbye.
All right. Awesome. Well, I send you guys love, and I'm very thankful for you guys, and of course for Celestine's gift, as always.
And Eric,
And Eric, we
he's
love you, Eric.
says love you, Elisa, love you, love you.